An offensive explosion you'll rarely see equaled. The Suns and the Jazz put on a show. The Suns win it by 8. We're talking about it next on POSTCAST.
You are Locked On Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
David Locke along with Ron Boone after the Utah Jazz fall to the Phoenix Suns, 134-126 in a game that was insane offensively. Both teams scored their season-high points in the first quarter, the Jazz 39 and the Suns 38. Then in the second quarter, both teams just kept it going. The Jazz scored a season-high 71 points through 3 quarters, but the Suns scored a season-high 76 points. Then it kept going and going. And the Suns scored a season-high 112 points through 3 quarters, and the Jazz scored 105. But then the offense is quieted a bit in the fourth, and the Suns win it 134-126. Let me just go big picture to stop. I mean, Ron, you've done this for a long time, 50-plus years. You said to me at a few commercial breaks, like, wow, I have rarely seen teams where it combined 44 of 84 from 3 tonight. Yeah, 44 of 84 from 3 tonight.
It just shows how good players are nowadays. I mean, the fact that everyone can shoot the basketball a little bit, but then when you have an explosion like that, guy shooting to the three-point line, and you expect every shot to go in. Both teams shooting over 50% there for 3 quarters. And then the fourth quarter, something different. But it was, what that happened? The Jazz only had 6 offensive rebounds. They averaged about 12 and a half, 13 offensive rebounds a game. There was no offensive rebounds to be gotten.
What was I wonder what their percentage is usually. The Jazz ended up with 6 out of 36, so that is a little low for them. The Jazz are usually around 32%, so that is a little low. 6 out of 36. They actually probably usually would be a little bit higher than that, but it is the night started. We should have known for the first 2 plays of the game. The very first 2 plays of the game, Nurkic was sitting in the middle of the paint, guarding the rim, and Walker Kessler hit corner threes. 2 of them in a row. And that set the tone for every other player on the court to match that shot making.
Yeah. The game plan, I'm sure, and I'm sure you'll get a chance to talk to Vince or maybe Bud. I mean, someone affiliated with the Jazz. I mean, with the Suns. And you can ask them, what's the game plan? Clog the middle, let Walker Kessler shoot a 3. And I guarantee you they'll say yes.
And then the question will be whether the Jazz knew this because they know Bud so well, which they did know because Bud changed the league about 4 or 5 years ago when he stuck Brook Lopez in the middle of the paint and said, okay, you can shoot as many threes as you want against the Bucks, but you're not getting to the rim. And that has kind of changed the way defenses have played across the entire league since Mike Budenholzer did that. Actually, he and I talked about that before the game. League shots of the league have been flat for 4 straight years ever since Bud did that. That's his strategy. Tonight just showed. I mean, this is. I want to stay on tonight's game, but I mean, the bigger point here about the league, and I don't actually understand why everyone says, well, if they just shoot 3, it's boring. I don't find Devin Booker shooting a 17-footer somehow more elegant than somebody shooting a 3. I don't understand the difference, but I think this is an example of that. Like, we're just on the precipice of another 3-point shooting explosion. We're having the largest jump in a single season of the amount of shots being taken from one year to the next right now than we've ever had in the league. I mean, it's minusculely different than it was like 9 years ago when the Warrior explosion happened. But that was when we went from like 25% of shots to 28% of shots. We're going from 35 to 38% of shots, and we're going to get to 45 to 50% of all shots are threes in this league.
Yeah, you can tell that's coming, David, because you go watch some of these travel teams, these 12-year-olds, they're shooting 3-point shots.
Yeah.
So it has to continue to the point where everyone is shooting threes. I've watched this game a long time, and I started in the ABA where the 3-point shot started. I mean, that was a shot that you took maybe 12 times a game, and you only had a couple of players that could shoot it. Now it's totally different. But what an asset when you have 3 or 4, 5 guys that can shoot a 3-point.
All right, let's go to some of the individual Jazz players tonight. I mean, we got Jordan Clarkson back, and he just flamed on. Maybe big pictures. Everyone had such a good offensive game. What did you see offensively from the Jazz that allowed them to have such an exemplary offensive night?
And I was trying to figure that out earlier, whether the Phoenix Suns offense, the defense was maybe a little soft, but maybe not. But you get teams scrambling, especially when you move the basketball, you can make three. You get very good looks. So, as you mentioned a little earlier, the legs were definitely there for both both teams and the players, and you didn't see too many shots hitting the front part of the rim. Just 4 or 5 days off has really made a big difference.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, these guys were fresh tonight, and you could tell the legs were there. Jordan, who earlier this year, Jordan was front rimming everything, and that was our feeling on his shooting. John Collins continues to just be exemplary. John Collins, 22 points tonight, 6 rebounds. I love the 6 assists.
Yeah.
The outlet passes he's throwing, finding guys. He's really playing beautiful, beautiful basketball.
Yeah.
Tim Kempton, have a good one. These guys can shoot these days. That was crazy, wasn't it? Yeah. Now, what jerk did you have on your pregame show who said Walker, like you don't need guys like Walker shooting threes? Okay, sorry. That was Tim Kempton of the Suns. I made a comment about Walker like not shooting 15-foot jumpers and getting better because of it. And they probably hit 2 threes. That was on their pregame show. All right. He said that was unbelievable shooting too. Let's go back to John Collins. The 6 assists is my favorite part of his game.
Yeah. And most of those assists, he was in traffic and looked weak side. I mean, that's what your coaches love to see, that, because when you're in traffic, the help has to come from that weak side of the floor. So you want to get the basketball to the weak side. Now, some teams will get to the point, David, where they will expect that and try to come up with the steal. But John did a great job of getting the basketball to shooters. And he's having a great year. I mean, it's unbelievable.
There were more guys tonight getting in the lane, jump stopping on 2 feet, and then throwing the ball out instead of getting themselves in trouble, making decisions too late, and turning the ball over. The ability of the guys to move the ball comes. Mike Brown talked about it the other night when we were in Sacramento, and I literally said on our broadcast, I would just like to see that out of our guys, because our guys too often are driving the lane. By the time they're making a decision, they're in the air. There's nowhere to go. That's how we were turning it over all the time. Tonight, I mean, even Collar didn't have a good shooting night. I don't know how many times he turned it over. He did seem like he was one step away from trouble. We lose the game, honestly, because of turnovers. We had 15 and they only had 7, and that allowed them to have 12 more shot attempts, and that's why they won. If you kind of want to know what happened tonight, that's the story, is that we turned it over 8 more times, and they ended up with 12 more shots. They had 3 more offensive rebounds. So, I mean, that's literally what happened. That's why we lost tonight. But 15 turnovers for us is a good number. That's progress. And I just thought we played under control, 2 feet in the paint, made the passes out. Just smarter plays tonight.
Coaches talk about making right reads all the time. I mean, you see where the defense is coming, you see what happens, and you realize, okay, he came from this direction, this has to be open, that type of thing. So get him the basketball. You talked about the turnovers, 9 turnovers from our guards tonight. And the rest of the field, I mean, Collins had 1, Markkanen had 1, that kind of thing. But our guards turned it over 9 times.
We'll touch about Keyonte in his play and then give out our reliability pluses in a second. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Robinhood Gold. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows you to get the rates and perks usually reserved for a high society. Now, with a resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold, can earn the very liberal rate of 4.2% APY on uninvested cash and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on IRA accounts. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of the high net worth for any net worth. They are generous benefits now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here. Robinhood Gold. Sign up at RobinhoodGold.com. Terms apply. For product-specific disclosures, visit Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC. Today's show is also brought to you by our FanDuel, the official sports book of the Locked On Podcast Network and of the NFL. Get ready to tackle this weekend's NFL action with America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers can bet $5 on $150 in bonus bets. If you win, the FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place bets on the NFL and the NBA all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you want to win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Ron, a lot of my shows this week have been all about Keyonte George, and just here was my number one take of the week for you, Ron.
Mm-hmm.
Because we lost Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, we've been asking Keyonte George and Walker Kessler to become Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, and that's not fair. Keyonte is the 16th pick of a draft. If he can become a rotation player in the NBA, that is great. And if if Walker Kessler can become an established center, that is great. And they are both on the road to doing that. If we want the stars to make us win games, the guys who are top 10, top 20, and top 50 players, they probably have to come out of the top of this draft, top of the next draft, and the top of the next draft after that.
Yeah.
But Keyonte George, to me, is becoming a viable rotation player because he's playing with a calmness that I had not seen out of him previously.
So for start with Walker Kessler, who's come a long ways. Obviously, he had a down year last year, caught everyone by surprise his first year in the league, and he's making progress. I've watched him work out all the time, but as soon as he gets a little offensive game down there in the paint, then he's going to be a player that everyone's going to want. For the most part, because his aggressive play here this year, going after rebounds out of his zone, out of his area, and then the fact that they now are learning how to put him in the dunker or something like that, where he can finish at the rim, continues to shoot over 70% there down in the paint. Now, as far as Keyonte is concerned, he is playing out of position last year and was trying to learn a new position. Now he's really comfortable, and the fact that he slowed his game down, he doesn't feel like he has to score all the time. Well, in other words, it's not his number one priority. It's the score like he was playing at the beginning of the year. It's really made a big difference in this game, I think.
All right, let's go Reliability Pluses, Ron Boone.
Let's go the whole team.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
No way.
It's not lazy Thanksgiving.
I do think that everyone made a contribution. The Jazz scored 126 points, Dave.
Right. You got to play a little defense. You allowed 134.
Yeah, that's true. But they scored, and everyone contributed. I thought those first three quarters.
What has happened to you?
I'm just getting generous. It's Christmas.
It's not even close. We're just on the road for so flipping long. It feels like it's close. Lauri Markkanen only had 2 points in the second half. Are you giving him a reliability plus? That is not what we want out of reliability.
No, that's not.
Okay.
I was joking when I said
John Collins, reliability plus.
Yes.
Walker Kessler, reliability plus. Colin Sexton, 2 for 9.
No.
Keyonte George, reliability plus.
Yes.
Bryce Sense, about 12 minutes, 3 of 4 from 3, but no assists, 1 rebound.
Let's come back to him.
Jordan Clarkson, plus.
Yes.
Isaiah Collier, 12 minutes, plus 3, 2 points.
No.
Kyle Filipowski.
No.
Johnny Juzang. No.
So we come back to Sensabaugh. Yes.
Okay. There it is. Those are reliability squares. Lacey is going to take care of that for you. Thank you very much for tuning in to tonight's edition of Postcast. We appreciate it. I'll be back with you on Monday from Los Angeles before the Jazz and the Clippers. Ron and I will be back with you Monday after the ballgame. Have a great night. Thank you very much. For those of you, go check out Locked On NBA after every single night's broadcast for the daily, nightly. We look at every game on Locked On NBA 7 days a week. Have a great one.